worked as a food delivery driver for nearly 3 years, and I thought I had seen every strange customer imaginable. Most nights were predictable. Pick up the order, follow the GPS, leave the food and move on to the next address. But one delivery changed everything, and to this day I refuse to work after midnight. It was 1:43 a.m. when the order appeared on my phone. It was unusually expensive, almost $80, and the customer had already paid online with a generous tip. The address was on the edge of town, somewhere I had never delivered before. I accepted it without thinking. As I drove farther from the city, the streets became darker. Streetlights disappeared, and the GPS signal started cutting in and out. Eventually, I reached an old gravel road surrounded by dense trees. At the very end stood a large 2-story house with only one light glowing upstairs. The delivery instructions made me uncomfortable. "Front door is unlocked. Leave the food inside." I knocked twice. Nobody answered. The door slowly creaked open when I pushed it. Inside, the house looked strangely normal. A television played static in the living room. A cup of coffee on the kitchen table was still steaming. Someone had clearly been there only minutes before. I called out, "Food delivery!" No response. I placed the bag on the kitchen counter. Just as I turned to leave, I heard slow footsteps above me. One step, then another. The sound stopped directly over my head. I froze. The ceiling creaked as if someone was standing perfectly still, listening. Without another word, I hurried toward the front door. It wouldn't open. I pulled harder. Nothing. My phone suddenly lost all signal. Then every light in the house went out. The only thing still glowing was the television. The static disappeared. Instead, the screen showed a live camera feed of the room I was standing in. I watched myself pull on the front door. Then, on the television, someone slowly walked into the room behind me. I spun around. The room was empty. When I looked back at the screen, the figure was standing only a few feet away from where I had been. I didn't wait. I found a back door leading into the yard and ran as fast as I could. I jumped into my car, locked every door, and sped back toward the highway. A few minutes later, my delivery app sent a notification. "Order completed. Customer rated your delivery 5 stars." The next morning, I reported the incident to the company. They couldn't find the order. According to their records, that address had never placed a delivery. Curiously, I drove back with 2 police officers later that afternoon. The house was gone. Only an empty field remained. One officer looked at me and quietly said, "That property burned down 12 years ago." I never told him about the television or the footsteps, but every year on the same date at exactly 1:43 a.m., my delivery app lights up with a new order. The pickup location is always blank. The destination is always the same, and the delivery instructions never change. The front door is unlocked. Leave the food inside.